Good afternoon, kids. We are continuing with our topic functional re-education. In last lecture, we have seen activities up to sitting. In this lecture, we will be starting with sitting activities. The person needs to sit on chairs and other seats. The seats of different types have different surfaces, and the surfaces may need to be adapted as per the requirement of the patient. The position of sitting can be achieved by getting up from lying position, or when the person is sitting on the floor or has fallen down on the floor, he or she can get up from the floor and achieve sitting position. Or if the person is able to sit from standing, he can achieve sitting position from standing. Sitting activity requires stability and balance of head and trunk, and it is considered as an essential background for effective movement of extremities while we are training the person for walking. While sitting in a chair with vertical backrest and without armrest, the weight of arms and girdles leads to position of body in forward bent posture and causes continuous flexion posture. This causes prolonged overstretching of extensor muscles of back, and secondary curves of spine are lost. There is compensatory hyperextension of neck, which aggravates problem specifically in elderly. In youngsters, it may not be of much problem, but elderly who are having breathing difficulties, joint pains, diseases such as arthritis can be affected more because of this kind of posture. While the person is sitting erect with back support and armrest, or he or she is inclining the body forward from hips to rest forearm on a table, it provides good support and it is suggestive of state of alertness, which is a good posture. Whereas when the person is sitting with back and neck inclined backwards and totally supported, it is suggestive of posture of relaxation. We have to consider pattern of seat, relative height of seat from the floor, position of seat in relation to the bench or table, and we may need to make small adjustments based upon trial and error. Movement of head, trunk and arms are complementary to each other for either extending vision or increasing possible range of activities of hand for function. For example, while sitting, turning head and body increases range of vision while we are greeting a colleague who is entering from a door behind ourselves, or leaning forward and reaching for an object from the floor is an example where head and trunk is moved to increase the range of hand activities for function. Bending forward with a turn from sitting and raising is a combination of activity for reaching the floor to right side using left hand and sitting back up and turning to look behind the left. It is almost similar to the trunk flexion rotation pattern as in chop and lift. When we are training the patient, it is advisable for the patient to grasp chair with right hand, which we are using to provide stability, and it improves the performance of the function which patient is performing. While sitting with crossed legs on a chair, the legs can be crossed either at ankles or thighs. It is a position of comfort. Many people prefer it as a position of authority. It makes person feel comfortable and easy while they are communicating to others. For coming to this position, the person has to lift one leg from floor and cross it across the other limb. It can be reinforced by support of hands to lift the lower limb or by firm pressure on floor of the contralateral foot which is in contact with the ground to reinforce the limb which is lifted. Training sitting with cross-legged includes lifting one limb, and it is useful in assisting the dressing activities. Many rhythmic repetitions performed can be useful for patient to train reciprocal movements of lower limbs. Sitting and weight transferring from one buttock to other is an important activity. The trunk is kept unsupported without any kind of support, and the trunk and pelvis are moving in a similar fashion when we are walking. Forward walking movement on buttocks towards the front of chair adds rotation of pelvis. Arms can be used for support to assist the movement and also reduces effect of friction because of the surface of chair. Lifting the body weight forward towards the front of seat using the arms requires strength and control. So we need to train upper limb strength before we train the person for buttock lifting or pelvis lifting. Arms can be placed on armrest or on the side of seat, or we can use non-slip wooden block. If the person is sitting on bench or a bed, the person can grasp side of the bench or bed and lift the pelvis to move it forward. During this activity, first arms start bearing weight, then the body is inclined slightly forward by doing hip flexion. Both the feet push down on the floor and shoulder starts to extend. For the person who are having longer upper limbs, while grabbing or grasping the side of the bed or table, the elbows are flexed, and for lifting the pelvis, elbows can be extended, which will provide additional force. With the help of this push from the floor as well as extension of shoulder and elbow, the person will be able to lift buttocks and then place it forward to the front of seat. Reversing the same movement can help patient learn leaning back on the chair as a part of activity coming back from standing to sitting. It gives feeling of weight bearing on both lower limbs for shorter periods, which is important to prepare patients for standing and walking activities.